The Olympic Games are behind us, but the competition is just heating up in the YTD arena. Today, 3 snacks battle it out for glory in a winner-take-all matchup. But don't worry, our 3 skilled hosts are at the top of their game, the top of their field, legends and experts alike. Prepare to witness greatness in the art of snacking. Right now on You Tried Dat! You Tried Dat. I'm Nick Novick, my pals. Chad Hancock.
Howdy.
Nick Geiger.
Hello.
Boys, how about those Olympics? They were great.
Wow.
Huh?
They're just...
So much athleticism.
I'm so glad they happened in our current world situation.
I'm so glad that they may or may not have happened.
Now, is it true that Usain Bolt came out of retirement and defeated COVID in the 100-meter dash?
That is true, yes.
Yeah.
No, but he did defeat Bigfoot in the 100-meter dash, as we previously established. So.
To be fair, Bigfoot's running style of windmilling his arms really slowed him down. It's not very aerodynamic.
Now, we've talked a lot about the horse in the X Games, not so much in the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
But
because they're not in either.
I recently correct.
But when are we going to finally have horse basketball? When is that happening? Airbud paved the way.
I did go on a vacation recently where I rode a horse. First time I've ridden a horse since probably when you and I did it, Chad, with a couple of our buddies in Colorado near
when
2
we were
decades
like 18
ago.
or something. Yeah.
So we go into, it's a really far down this gravel road, kind of we're in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like a ton of people waiting to ride horses. I think it's just someone who owns a horse farm. So we show up, they have the 4 horses ready for me, my 2 kids and wife, and the lady looks at us and says, you two come get on these 2 horses. And so I'm assuming they've given them the most gentle horse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're 10 years old.
Right.
And then next she says, which one of you is most nervous about this? And I wasn't nervous, because I figured...
That made you nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one horse just like slamming into the walls and stuff, just bucking around.
And there's one horse in the corner just sharpening a knife. Shing,
shing. And even if I was, I'm not going to put my wife on the crazy horse, right?
You just shoving her towards it. Like that. Do you remember that video of that guy at the baseball game that like there was a home run from a couple years ago? Home run coming to the guy and he shoved his wife to like get it. I think that's going to be you.
So I said, probably her, and she just looked and agreed because she doesn't want to get on a crazy horse either. So I was put on what was the worst behaved horse of the 4. And we're like, it's an hour-long thing, which it turns out is a really long time to sit on a horse.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're riding through, this is not a paved trail or anything. We're riding through a very hilly forest with a slightly paved out dirt track. And there are like fallen trees, and she's like, oh, we had a storm, so it looks like we're gonna have to go around this one. And we're just weaving through a forest, and every time we get by a tree, the horse is like scraping my leg against the tree. I can't get him to do anything I want. She's like, yeah, just give him a kick. And I'm like, I'm not pissing this horse off.
I just donkey punch him in the back of the head. No, I'm not going to do that.
Just wrench his switchblade out of his hoof and give him a good old stab.
So there was one part that we had to go over a fallen branch, and my horse decides to take a giant leap over it. Like my cap goes flying off and into the mud. And I'm like, my hat. I'm like, I don't even give a fuck about my hat anymore, but she was nice enough and stopped. But after you're on any horse for about 40 minutes, damn it if your legs and thighs aren't killing you.
You like walk like an idiot for just the rest of the day, right? Like just like bow-legged, stumbling around and stuff.
So I'm like in the back wanting to ask her, like, but not be like, when's this over? How much longer?
When is this over? And you pretend to be the horse.
Are we there yet?
Because the kids were having an amazing time because they weigh 50 pounds. It's nothing to those nice, gentle horses. So it was definitely a pain. Like they had a lot of fun. And Geiger, I know you've done some horse riding recently too, right? Have you experienced the same thigh pains?
Yeah, last summer we robbed a stagecoach, and
you get leg cramps sitting and doing this podcast.
I get leg cramps in a stationary position. No, we every year we've done it a couple times. And then for some reason it just started one year. We went on Mother's Day, and we've been going every Mother's Day since. And it's fun, but I'm with you. At the end, I'm like, it's less about my legs, but I feel like my back, I'm just not using good posture, so I'm like slumping down and bouncing up and down on my like back. My back, it's a little sore, but I like it. It's kind of fun. It's usually funny because the kids this year finally got to ride like actual horses. I usually put them on these like ponies, and they're in the way back. Like we'll turn around and my daughter's pony's just like eating branches and like taking a shit, and Evie's like, "Dad," and I'm like, "Could you go get her?" So like they would have to like get her up to us, but I enjoy it. The worst one of them, actually, it was. Chad, you were in town. We recorded the Oreo tournament, and I had like a pretty bad fever. It didn't stop. I just still did everything. It was pretty stupid. But and then I went horseback riding the next day, which that was not fun doing that with like potentially the flu. And then, of course, the one year that we went to the horseback riding place. But on the way, I had made my wife violently gluten sick. So she was like throwing up in the car. We had to stop 3 times so she could throw up at the side of the road. And then she's sitting in the car crying while the horse lady's like, "I need to know if you guys are getting on or not." And I'm like, "My wife just threw up in your fucking parking lot, asswipe." "No, I'm not getting on your goddamn horse." And the horse is like, "Hurry up." So I had to go get him.
Were you like using the horse to like apologize? There's no way you can know there's gluten in there.
That looks like a perfectly fine enchilada sauce.
Should have given her some oats.
You're an asshole. Wait, horse? Spun around. Chad, how about you? Horseback ride?
Well, the last time I went was like 8 or 9 years ago. Actually, we were on Easter Island, actually, of all fucking places, and there we rode some horses. Like it was like an hour each way up to the top of the highest peak on Easter Island, which sounds way more impressive than it is because it's like Easter Island is really flat. There's like 3 hills basically. And I was definitely at the end of it. I was like, okay, this was cool, but I kind of would have rather just hiked it. You know, like I feel like I would have got there basically the same speed, and the only advantage of the horse was that it was carrying my shit, and I could just like have my wife do that or something. But or like, yeah, isn't that what you have kids for? Have them carry your shit.
Yeah, built-in horse replacements.
Yeah.
But you got up in an hour and you then had to ride it back down, and you were probably like...
Yeah, exactly. So we got up there, and then we were up there for like, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. We had lunch up there. That was all nice. But then it's like, now I've been sitting on the ground, and my legs are now, like, my muscles have seized up, right? And like, in permanent, like, bow leg position. And I'm like, now I have to get back on this fucking thing and like re-injure my ass bone, on the way down, because going down is way worse, right? Because you're like kind of leaned, weird and stuff.
Ooh, somebody airlift us out of here.
Yeah. So the horse was basically like, "I don't want to carry your fat ass either."
No, we both got scoliosis.
How much shit did you bring?
It's just lunch, I think, like a camera.
Who brings 2 boxes of Reese's cups up to a mountain?
And then I had a kind of horse adjacent thing happen to me last weekend.
Horse adjacent, huh?
Yeah, which is like, well, so there's there's a carousel in Golden Gate Park here in San Francisco that like reopened recently, and my daughter now is obsessed with the carousel. Like she loves the carousel. So, she, on Sunday or whatever, I got her from her nap, and she, but she's also like, still having trouble like kind of pronouncing most words or whatever. And so she just like grabbed my arm and like in a really intense stare, like right into my eyes, and said like, "I want to go kill yourself."
Whoa.
And like was just staring right at me, and I'm like, "What?"
Is
and
she
she
sharpening
goes,
a knife in the corner with the horse?
and then I said like, "Wait, what?" And she just repeated, "Kill yourself."
Whoa.
And I'm like looking at her, and then I realized she was saying carousel, but pronouncing it wrong.
Is that what you're telling
I
yourself?
realized she was telling me to kill myself. So.
I realized she was dead serious.
I realized there was a horse whispering in her ear saying, "Kill yourself." So yeah, she just wanted to go to the carousel and ride the horse inside the carousel. But afterwards, I did kill myself per her request.
All right. All right. Well, let's get into the snacks. We're gonna eat 3 snacks, rate them on a 5-point scale. I love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, and hate dat. Let's eat the Fat Snax first.
Oh,
The
hell
fat
yeah.
one's out of the way.
Make us as heavy as possible for the horses with these fat snacks.
I was really excited because I didn't look closely at this. I just saw it said Fat Snax and cookie, doubled chocolate, 2 soft baked cookies. A lot of things you like to hear.
Yep.
But if you look at the like slightly smaller, the smallest print on there, it says gluten-free and keto.
Yeah. I had the exact same thing. I saw these in the store and I was like, ooh, a chocolate cookie brand I haven't tried. And then I picked them up and then I'm like, oh, but I got them anyways. It does say on the back, you can eat fat and be fit. We cut down the carbs without sacrificing taste, and we create unapologetically fat-filled snacks. So you can have your cookie and eat it too. And it does have a lot of fat. It's 20% of your saturated fat.
How is that healthy? Because it's not a carb?
I don't think they're claiming it's healthy. They just replaced all the
You can
gluten
eat
with fat.
and be fit.
I think they don't have any gluten, so they just used lard as the bonding agent, I guess.
These are in a package of similar to if you buy like a grandma's cookie package that's like a twofer. They're so pretty sizable cookies, 2 big cookies.
What is keto? What does that even mean? I mean, I've heard of it, like keto diet, but I don't know.
Anyone exactly? Well,
I think it's stuff
keto.
Three guys who have never been on a diet. Is a high fat,
yourself.
High fat,
adequate
protein, low carb. Okay.
So standard diet.
Mainly used to treat epilepsy in children. What?
Not until some infomercial guy got a hold of it.
Yeah.
That's the Fat Snax sales rep just walks around, and when he sees like a kid flopping on the floor, he's just shoving cookies into his mouth.
It's not a pill. It's just a part of a diet. The largest medical supplement ever. 2 fat-filled cookies.
All right, Geiger. You've eaten more gluten-free stuff than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because you married someone who can't handle their gluten. So,
I married some wretched, useless, no gluten having woman.
Right.
That doesn't have the decency to properly process gluten so that I can eat what I want all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Selfish.
She really is. She really is. I'm glad you said it.
What do you think of the cookie?
I want to vent about my wife more. No, it is okay. I've had a lot of these gluten-free snacks. This is far and away not the worst gluten-free cookie I've eaten. It is a little. It's still dry.
That's not saying
but
much.
No, exactly. It's a low bar. It doesn't make it good. I'm just saying it's at least smidge softer and less dry than some of the cookies are. For being double chocolate, it doesn't really taste like chocolate that much. It's got that fake cocoa flavor, but it's really not chocolate. I'm torn between an indifferent, but dislike that. But the more I look at it, the more I realize I would never want to eat it again. It's not good.
Nope.
If you are a gluten-free person, I would say maybe these would be something to try. But if you're not, if you're the rest of us, if you're normal, if you're not a mutant,
if you are a gluten-free person, I would say to you, kill yourself.
And I would tell them, go ride the carousel.
Right.
This is a dislike that for me.
All right. Dislike to start, Chad?
The first bite, I was like, okay, but
your voice changed on the first bite.
And after that, it went downhill really fast. The aftertaste is horrible, and it is very much the kind of like Geiger said, like it just tastes like there's just this ground up cocoa powder like sprinkled over it instead of actually being like sort of mixed in. Even the chocolate chips don't taste good for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Right.
The aftertaste is really, really bad on this thing, and it is super dry. As Geiger said, you could do a lot worse on gluten-free, but for me, this is going to get a dislike that.
All right. I need to thank you guys for saying what needed to be said. It's bad. The part of the back that was wrong was that you cut down the carbs without sacrificing taste. Taste was heavily sacrificed in the making of this product. The chips, I agree, the chips aren't great. It's the only thing that even made it tolerable, really, that kept it from a hate for me, was that there was chips in it. It's really, I expected it actually to be dense, and it's not dense at all. I don't know. It's just, it tastes really bad. It looks bad. It's just barely out of a hate, but it's going to be 3 dislike that's an unwelcome visitor for the Fat Snax. We've got 2 high chews. We're going to rate a Ramune and Cola. We're just going to rate them as 1. So high chew, if you haven't had it, just kind of like a Tootsie Roll sized candy. The Cola one looks a lot like a Tootsie Roll on the outside with some kind of a white filling, and the Ramune is all white.
I didn't realize we're eating both. I gotta go grab the Cola one, so fill in some time.
Look at
Can't
that
wait to get
piece
shit
of
talked
shit.
the entire time I'm gone. Yeah. I heard that. I got ya.
Piece of shit. What's weird is I got this came as one bag, like a big bag with tons of high chews in it. And it's the same, it's like a combined bag, high chew soda pop with both flavors in it.
Okay.
But it was like 80% Ramune. Huh. Like I sent you guys each, I think like 2 colas each or something like that. And I only have 2 colas left here, and then I have 10 Ramunes left.
So either terrible luck, or they just had like a gross of Ramunes they needed to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I had the cola first. I don't know. It doesn't taste very cola-ish to me.
I did the Ramune first, and it does not taste very Ramune-ish.
Whoa.
Just came in with this showing us his belly.
Hey, boys. Hey.
Showing us the current location of those Fat Snax.
My fat belly.
Uh-huh.
Showing us the reason that they had to put that horse down.
His spine was just destroyed. Hey, put your shirt on, you fat fuck.
The cola one tastes, is that like a Dr. Pepper, or like, what is that?
I don't know. I ate the whole thing. I wish I actually had another one, but it was hard to place. I wouldn't guess cola. There's no way if you didn't tell me cola.
No, it
doesn't
like a real
taste medicinal kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like an RC or like a Coke or Pepsi or anything like that. It
Almost tastes like gingery or something.
Yeah, maybe like a ginger ale or some shit.
Well, Chad, you finished them both, so why don't you tell us what you think?
Yes, I quote finished them.
I saw him take both out of his mouth.
I'm finished with them. I can say
yeah,
that.
yeah. So the Ramune one was actually not bad. Which actually I think in most, like, I don't drink a lot of soda anymore these days, just kind of an occasional root beer, but I think if I had a Ramune and like a Coke or Pepsi sitting side by side, I would probably pick the Ramune actually, because I think it's less like overpowering of a flavor. That's true here too. The Ramune is much better of these two. It's a little more subtle of a flavor. I don't know if it really tastes like Ramune. I'm not sure it does. It's kind of just like a vaguely sweet. Maybe there's a hint of lemon there, or lime or something, but it's so subtle. I barely get it at all. The cola one actually I found disgusting. Um, to the point where after I spit out the cola one, I picked up the Ramune one that I had spit out and put it back in my mouth just to try to like wash out that cola taste. It's gross. And so if it was just the Ramune that we were rating, I'd maybe give it an indifferent to that. But how gross that cola was, I am going to average it out at a dislike that.
Whew, I feel almost opposite of you, because I think the cola was better. The aftertaste of the Ramune one is bad.
Wow.
I had it second. You had them in the other order, right? You
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we just ate the last one we ate.
Maybe just the aftertaste of this food is bad.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
I actually like the chew part of it. I think that's like the good amount of chew for this. It's better than
the problem is the high part, or
I'm high. That's the problem.
This is weed. That's the aftertaste. We're tasting. Is it ginger?
Like
it's marijuana?
It's a better chew than a Tootsie Roll, even though it feels like a Tootsie Roll on the outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit soft. It tastes like if a Tootsie Roll had ever tasted fresh to anyone in their entire life. Like that's what it would have tasted like. So I kind of like that part of it. So I just don't think it's enough to move it up, because the taste is not something I want to go back for. I actually think there are high chews. I'd want to try like a desirable high chew flavor, like just a strawberry or something. And I think I could like that. But for these particular flavors, I'm going to give them a dislike that. That's 5 straight dislike that's. Geiger, is it going to be 6?
I'm glad you brought up the chew, because I liked the chew as well. It was a very nice chew.
Yeah, it was a good chew.
How were you on the high?
I'm just so baked right now. Is that what high people say? It's almost like if like you said, like a Tootsie Roll had sex with gum. It was like right in the middle of like actual gum.
Oh yeah,
and Tootsie Roll. And that's hot as shit, right? That's the song Tootsie Roll is about. Trying to fuck some Wrigley.
I don't know if you've been told, but I just fucked that gum.
Moving on. It tasted okay. I actually like the Ramune one. I like the flavor. I thought it was kind of a cool, like Sprite-y flavor.
Very cool.
It's very.
That was my Chad. I'm sorry. I had to do...
Very cool. It was very nice chew. No, I thought it was fine. I use terms that you guys don't. It was an acceptable flavor. No, it was good. I thought the lemon lime one was good. If that's all we were rating, it'd be a solid like that for me.
Lemon lime.
I'm with you guys. What?
Did you say
what it's called? Ramune. I've never had Ramune. It tastes like a Sprite.
Like, did we eat the same candy?
I just drink a Sprite. Is that what we're rating? The cola one is bad. I don't know. I don't like ginger as a flavor. I'm just kind of guessing it tastes like ginger, or like licoricey or something. It wasn't cola, and it wasn't Dr. Pepper. It was bad. And so for that reason, I think, as Chad said, I have to average them out. I would put maybe mine as an indifferent because I didn't like the cola, but I did like the. I would have given a light Dat to the Ramune, so that split the difference. I'll give it an indifferent to that.
Okay.
To Dat.
It's enough to push it into the lead.
Combo breaker.
And we'll see if it can hold on. And spoiler alert, it will not.
It will. Getting a little musky in here.
Right. So we did talk about the Olympics. They just recently ended, or maybe they ended a while before that.
Or maybe they're happening next year now.
We don't know. Maybe they're all still there.
But today we're going to talk about some Olympic events that were previously in the Olympics, but were taken out for various reasons. And you guys are going to rate these on how much you'd like to see them put back into the Olympics. Okay. You're going to rate it. You're going to give it either a gold, silver, or bronze based on how much you'd like to see it. A gold medal, obviously, is you'd die to see that back in. A bronze medal is you have no interest because, of course, anyone who wins a bronze medal, that's trash, right? So...
Yeah, just throw it out. Is this inspired by, or is one of these the race walking? Because
I took race walking out because it's still in there.
But this is the last year. I just read an article.
Oh, I did not know that was last year. But race walking is fucked. Like, it is a very bizarre.
It's so strange.
What is it? Just speed walk? It's like a speed walking competition.
Yeah, but there's like judges who watch their feet to make sure that like each foot has to be like heel toe the whole way, and the guys are like swinging their hip. If you see somebody walking, their hips are like swinging wildly as they go.
Such a wild sport, and they go for like 20 miles or something like that, right? Like it's like a 50K speed walk or whatever, and they have a specific motion they have to do so they don't run. And I remember looking at it, and I'm like, the Times was like, oh, this person walks twice as fast as I run. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I guess this is the last year for it. So
that's got to be so much pressure on the world's leading race walkers to be like, got to get my gold now. This is my last chance, and then I got to go work at the post office. I guess like I have no other job lined up.
I'm gonna deliver this mail so fast.
I gotta go beat these horses.
It's a life skill, you know. Walk quickly. It's not like something you'll never use again.
Right.
Okay, so there's 3 categories here with 3 events in them each. Actually, the first one just has 2 events. So this is like a track and field type event for the first 2. This event was last in the Olympics in 1932. It is the rope climb. So 2 people climb up ropes, and they're not allowed to use their legs as they go.
Whoa!
No legs allowed.
Whoa.
All right. So what do you think, Chad? You can start. How interested would you be to see rope climb back in the Olympics?
Ooh, boy. I actually think the lack of legs makes it maybe a little less interesting. Because then it just becomes like dudes that
See those gams pumping away, huh?
Yeah. Well, I am a leg man. But then it just becomes like guys with just huge biceps and shoulders or whatever, just like trying to pull themselves up. I feel like if you could have the legs, then maybe you could do something more interesting. Like maybe somebody could get like really good at just running up the rope or speed walking up the rope.
What? You think it would turn into sorcery? All right.
So I'm gonna get what is gold, silver, or bronze are my choices.
Yeah.
I'll give this one a silver.
Geiger.
Running up the rope.
Yeah.
You never know because they don't allow the legs.
You do know.
I'm picturing like Super Mario World where he just like could run straight up and down a vertical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get the Tanuki hat on, or is that what they did then? I don't know.
No, wrong one. That's Mario 3.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Geiger.
My bad.
Geiger.
How long is the rope? Like, is this like a short? Is it like a long? Like they're an endurance thing that they're climbing up like 50 feet?
I don't know, like a gym class rope, I guess.
And is it a race?
The rope is 50K.
Is it a race?
And there's judges
like
watching their hands the whole time.
Is it who can get the highest up the rope or the fastest up the rope? Like, what's the objective?
Yeah, I think it's the fastest. I assume there's
Okay.
no rope so high that
It's
somebody
infinite
can't
rope.
climb.
It's just infinite rope. They're like in skyscrapers adding rope as they go. Like, this guy, oh my god, this guy's rope game.
Some kind of like rope treadmill setup, like on a system of pulleys or whatever, and you just keep going until you die.
Keep climbing. No, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, see how like whose forearms fell off first.
Yes. The event is called Kill Yourself.
Oh, I thought you said rope.
Kill yourself with a rope. Anyways, go ahead.
It sounds pretty dull. I guess it'd be interesting once, but once you see it once, I think that's my problem with a lot of these track and field events. Like, oh, cool, look at that shot put. I don't really need to see like 15 more shot puts. They're just like the same. Here, I'm hurling a rock. Awesome. So I would give it a bronze. I will only bronze that one.
What would you think of another rope-based event, the tug of war? It was last in 1920, and there were 2 8-man teams doing a tug of war. Is that something that would be interesting to see, Geiger?
Yes, I think tugs of war are very fun. I think
it's a little too long hesitation.
Oh, really?
I think tugs are great.
The tug. I think I love tugs of men. No, but there's like a ribbon in the middle, and you're trying to get it across. Like, it's an old. Like, did you guys used to have field day when you were growing up at school?
Yeah, I mean, we know how tug of war works. Yeah.
No, but did you do one? You fucking jackass! I didn't know you were aware of the rule book.
Yeah,
but, like, I've
done a tug of war.
Yeah, watching all the people like strain and heave and like put the rope over their shoulder, and you pick out the fat guy to be the anchor and all that fun stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's what they do in the Olympics.
They have like viscera back there, just like the rope wrapped around his waist, like unable to move, just staring at the other team. That would be lots of fun. I would give that a gold.
All right,
that would be tug of war.
Chad, do you agree?
It's the ultimate test of strength.
You like tugs?
It's the ultimate test of strength.
I've read stories where like tug of war is actually like deceptively dangerous because like people will wrap the rope around their arm a little bit and then like it'll get tugged and their arms will get like dislocated and like all sorts of stuff. Not
you realize like boxing is an Olympic event, right? They're getting punched in the fucking face. Don't tug war, guys. Don't tug some more. I wouldn't want you to strain your arm. Take my tea.
I think tug of war sucks. I think it's fucking stupid. It's just it's the type of sport where it's like a bunch of dads who think they're like way fucking tougher than they actually are. Like are like, oh yeah, let's all get together and do a tug of war and like impress our fucking shitty kids or something like that.
Hold on now.
This guy's got an axe to grind against dads.
Yeah. What random group of dads is getting around in the neighborhood where you live and tugging war? Who's doing that?
All the dads. Every dad is doing that. So I'm going to give this one a bronze.
All right. Boy, it's split. If I had to pick one, I would agree with Chad. Tug of war is boring as fuck.
Awesome.
It's just a bunch of dudes looking like they're trying to take a shit. Like, and they're not able to.
All right, next one. The next 3 are water-based events. Motorboating.
Ooh, I like that.
Is that a horse?
Yeah.
That's a
horse.
Motorboating.
That was a horse. Just coincidentally.
Nice
did a horse noise.
Who's driving this boat? All right. It was last in 1908. And here's the issue with the motorboating from 1908 is the boat's maxed out at 20 miles per hour.
The
motor was just some guy paddling really fast with his arms.
Is it like a coal-fired engine? They're like
so let's say they could put it back today. Right. Chad, you are a big Fast and Furious guy. So like you might like seeing people flying around on motorboats. So
absolutely.
If it was put back in, would you like to see the motorboating?
So we're assuming that the motorboat it's like a modern day motorboat. Like, okay.
Right.
Okay. So I would like to watch a motorboat race. I think that would be very fun. But we're talking about in the Olympics here.
Right.
Right.
What is the fucking skill of just like hitting start and just steering through a course, right? Like that, you don't have to train your entire life. There's no like athletic achievement there. But it would be really fun to watch. So I'm going to give it a gold.
Yeah, it's just going to be some bra who's like driving his boat.
Some boating bra. He's wearing like Izod t-shirt. Like,
yeah.
Want to go middle on the weekend, bro? Hey, me and the dad's gonna go tug of war in the backyard. You want to go?
Yeah, his fucking like shitty CEO dad like bought him a yacht when he was 5, and then he like modded it to have a motorboat on
it. Geiger motorboat.
But yeah, I'm with Chad. It's not. Yes, as a race, would it be entertaining? Sure. It's not a sport though. Like just it's a sport like auto racing is a sport, and that it's not a sport; it's a contest. You're just piloting. It'd be one thing if like obviously some of those there's like rowing and stuff. That's actual physical prowess. This is just piloting a boat, which maybe back in the day when they did it, there was some sort of physical aspect to it. I don't know. I will
shoving the coal into the steam engine.
Exactly. Yeah. I will say Chad's not accurate and said it doesn't require any like training or skill. Like it takes skill to drive a super fast boat, but not athletic skill. Just like ability to drive a motor vehicle. So
yeah, it doesn't take a lifetime of training and dedication like gymnastics or any of these other events.
Right. So I will say bronze because I think that's dumb and doesn't belong in the Olympics.
Okay, 2 other water ones. Next is the swimming obstacle course. From 1900. There was 3 obstacles in 1900. The pole climb, the climb up and over a few boats, and then swim under a few more boats.
Climb up and over boats? I thought you were going to say like up and over a wall.
No.
It's like boats.
Over a boat?
The motor boats that were going by.
Yeah, this is the same time as the motorboat race.
Basically, they lined up a few boats. You went over some, and then you went under some other ones. So this said like all the money spent as like Nickelodeon Double Dare.
1930s Double Dare.
Yeah, I also thought you were going to say when you were like, oh, this was from 1900, and the obstacles I thought you were going to say was like pit of alligators or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Survive the war. Right.
Yeah, that... Now, again, we talked about the motorboat one. We'd be using modern day boats. Could we like jazz it up a little bit and like modern it like alligator, like sharks? Right, is the first thing I thought of. Like you have to swim by a bunch of sharks, or you have to like someone's shooting at you while you're swimming or something. Those are classic obstacles.
You want to watch Fear Factor, basically.
Joe Rogan, the Olympic host. Now drink a load of piss. Because everyone's afraid of that, right? Afraid to drink piss?
I got this, bro. I've done this.
He just pulls up on his on his homemade modded yacht, Joe Rogan, and he's like, hey, was the moon landing real? All right, let's get this race started.
Here, take this weird unverified amino acid while blades rotate on the bottom of my boat and kill all these fucking guys. Fear Factor! Yeah, no, that could be very interesting depending on what the obstacles are. I'm gonna give this a silver medal because I'm going to assume that in modern times we'll come up with more entertaining obstacles than watching a guy clamber out of the water and crawl over a boat and then tumble back into the water defeatedly. Because it's not even like going under a boat. It's not like I can even see that. Like, especially at that time, they didn't have like underwater camera technology. So it's just like, and wait for him to come back up.
Yeah. If that's all he's going to do, he needs like a cinder block tied to his leg as he does all this stuff. Chad?
I think this sounds like the best one yet, honestly. I feel like there's a potential to set up some obstacles that are very in the vein of stuff like American Ninja Warrior or whatever, those shows where there could just be like some really like intense, like really cool obstacles that would be thrilling to watch. So I think this sounds super fun. So gold medal for me for this one.
All right. The next one is called the Plunge for Distance water event.
He's plunging for distance.
It's just like, can I guess that it's just a bunch of people trying to get at an unclogged toilet, and then when they're done plunging, how far does the water shoot out?
How far does the toilet stick get into the toilet?
So this is from 1904. So the people dive into the water face first, and then they float face down with arms up. They're not allowed to move their arms or anything, and they get 60 seconds and see how far they can get just lying face down in the water. This was a real event.
Wait. So they splat into the water and do a dead man's float, and then like they have a minute to just drift off to sea.
Yes, they showed the guy. They're not in the ocean. They showed the guy just laying. It looked like his arms were both forward, but he was just laying face down and just like trying to float ahead, like, holding his breath for a minute.
There's like blood leaking out of his body and polluting the water. Like, he's doing really well. Hasn't moved his arms one time.
He's using the blood to propel him forward.
Now he'll somehow have to get over this boat.
Ooh.
What do you think, Chad?
That's okay. So you want to talk about driving a boat not requiring any athletic ability? Here's one that kind of tops that. That sounds real fucking boring. I think that was a good move to cut that. That's getting a bronze for me. That's awful.
Geiger?
Gold medal. I want to see this so bad. Gold medal. I just want to watch. Like, I don't care because the whole thing will be dumb. And after I'm going to completely contradict what I just said. After 2, I won't want to see it. However,
yeah,
that first one is going to be hilarious. Just watching some guy like just needle into the water and just lay there and just like float while the commentators are like, no, he's using good technique of floating. His body is very buoyant. He drank some buoyant stuff before he did that. Like, just whatever commentators that have to say something while he just drifts away slowly. And suddenly a horn goes off and they give him a medal. I think that would be outstanding. That's a gold medal. Great float.
Now, one I cut, I didn't go, but it was, and there was the horse long jump from 1900. I just thought it was kind of funny since we did talk about horses, but there used to be a horse long jump, and they can't apparently jump even close as long as humans can jump. So
cool.
All right, so 3 left. The next one is live pigeon shooting. All right, it's lasted 1900. So they took a bunch of pigeons. They would keep a bunch of pigeons in a cage, and then just suddenly release a ton at a time, and then some dude with a rifle would just see how many he could shoot down.
7-time Olympian John Rambo steps to the thing.
I mean, at least they released the pigeons. They gave them a sporting chance. I thought it was just going to be they were in the cage and you had 5 seconds to try to mow them down.
Unloading a rifle into a cage. 20 birds.
Bra just smashes his motorboat through the cage.
Bra, that's his name now. Hey, bro, I'm a multi-sport athlete. I just killed 3 swimmers in the obstacle course that blew up a pigeon cage. Bro.
So
fire up the grill. I caught it for dinner, brah.
The gold medalist is just of this event is just like some old man farmer in a pair of overalls. So Geiger, what do you think? Live pigeon shooting? What's the modern version? What do we shoot these days?
Just seeing like a dead, like this guy floating by in the water, start shooting at them. So
live plunge for distance shooting.
This is still an Olympic event in Wisconsin, right?
It's called November.
It's called Saturday.
It's called Stay Away from My Crops. Yeah, this. I mean, no, I don't want to see it. It's. I don't want to be watching the Olympics with my daughter and have her freak out while they're blasting birds' heads off. I don't need to see that. And also, like, I also don't need to see, like, and again, I realize other countries that compete, but just Hillbilly Jim with his, like, "Don't Tread on Me" t-shirt out there just blowing birds away with that pistol or something. Like, I don't think that'd be very entertaining. And PETA would make it obnoxious anyway with all the protests. So, no.
Chad?
Bronze medal.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be doing anything to encourage anyone to use a gun in this country under any circumstances already. Plus, I've actually been, I went, like, clay pigeon shooting one time. You guys ever done that?
Yeah.
Because,
Yes.
like, my brother, past podcast guest.
I've done the shotgun version, but.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, so my brother had bought a gun, back in the day, and, I was like, oh, take... because I think he wanted to get into hunting at one point or something like that, but he's since come to his senses. But he took me to the shooting range, and like we had to do we did the clay pigeon shooting, and I actually got one out of like 30 or whatever. But like there is no situation where I should have any remote amount of success at an Olympic sport. You know what I mean? Like, if my first time out, I can like have some modicum of success, then it probably shouldn't be a sport. So bronze.
All right, 2 left are the strangest ones. Again, lasted 1900. This one is called Poodle Clipping. This is a real Olympic event.
Mm-hmm.
It was who could clip the most poodles in 2 hours.
Cut their nails or cut their hair?
Is this also
their
like
hair, I guess,
clipping them with a shotgun, like blah blah blah? Oh no, that one doesn't count. You actually blew its head off. You needed to just clip it.
Is this
now,
filming
it's really...
it and then taking clips and putting them on YouTube? Is that what this is?
Yes, that's the modern version. It didn't go into a lot of detail, so I don't know if like it needed to be cut a certain way or just
the typical
like a certain percentage of it needed to be right.
Like this poor, like, poodle just like bleeding all over the place, like hair in its eyes. Boy.
So, Chad, what do you think? Poodle clipping? Do you see something like this coming back?
I've actually I've been to a couple dog shows. They have one in San Francisco every year where you could go and like see the dogs like up close and like pet them and meet them and stuff like that. And it's pretty fascinating. But poodles, I think, are always like my least favorite dogs at the dog show because of the haircut. Like poodles, great dogs. You know, my stepmom used to have and dad used to have a poodle that was like a super fun and friendly dog. But then when they do the cut, where it's like they shave the back, shave the legs, and it just has like the little pom-poms on it, and it looks so fucking stupid. And so for that reason alone, because the poodle haircut is so dumb and so bad, I don't want to see this come back. I'm giving it a bronze.
Yeah, the updated version would be like the Labradoodle clipping.
Right.
Dog that didn't exist in 1900.
Yeah.
Geiger, what do you think?
I again, going back to my previous statement about boat racing, this is not a sport. This is like just learning how to clip a dog is not athletic. In theory, I could buy a poodle and practice enough to become good at clipping it quickly.
Yeah. Or just use someone else's poodle.
I could borrow a couple poodles. Yeah. I could rent a poodle.
You want a poodle? I'll get you one by noon.
Because, you know, everyone's cool with just giving you their dog and having you shave it bald. That's what everyone really wants you to do. This would suck. This is not like, that's not a sport. That's a bronze medal.
All right, last one. So apparently in the original like design of the Olympics, there was like an arts portion of it, right? It wasn't all just sport.
Lame.
It was just Odyssey of the Mind.
So this went until 1948. This was the
Whoa.
most recent of these events that was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
It's called town planning.
Oh, no.
These were the Call of Duty dudes of the Olympics.
The Sim City of Olympics?
Yeah. Neckbeards used to do town planning before they got to do Call of Duty. Call of Town, it was called. So, like, one of the designs that won a silver medal once was the design of the Marine Park in Brooklyn. All right, so they would design something or do some kind of town planning.
Wow.
And go for the gold.
Whoever that was really pwned those noobs.
Yeah, what do you think of town planning? How could this come back and maybe look different, or does it need to look different?
It needs to look non-existent. It needs to never. Somebody sits down and just diagrams out a city, and then it gets rated by judges or something.
Yeah,
they have to build the city
spectator
and like
sport.
check it over 40 years to see how it like grows and thrives.
Right.
Now on ESPN2, let's go to this guy's drafting table, and he's just like drawing out a park and putting trees in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it was probably something that was like submitted,
right?
Like well before. Like it's nothing you could like. It's part of the Olympics is viewers to see.
Right.
You know, it's not interesting.
Well, I really didn't like the guy's placement of the reservoir. I don't think it's an efficient use of the area. And what the fuck are we looking at? It's boring.
I want to see the Wheaties box with just some like guy in a dirty suit sitting at a table.
Why is he dirty?
His suit is dirty.
Planners are notorious animals. Just ink
It's the 40s, and he had to wear a suit
I gotta win
to
a
work.
gold medal.
Right.
Now hear this. I'm an athlete. Yeah, just sitting there with like some Bulgarian strongman on the bus. What are you doing? I'm planning the city.
His suit is dirty because Bra came over and beat him up and took his lunch money.
I own this city. You plan it.
Should have planned it near a waterway.
Where am I going to park my killer motorboat? The death cycle. Yeah, this is a bronze. This is terrible. This is not a sport. Maybe a contest.
This might be up your alley here, Chad. What do you think?
So I actually like have thoughts about city planning in general because like so many cities are so poorly planned. You know, I remember as you guys know, I lived in Salt Lake City for like almost a year. And that city is like a perfect grid. The streets are all like exactly numbers, you know, going north and south and east and west. So like somebody tells you their address, you know exactly where it is, right? Like you can find it without any kind of directions. That feels like a gold medal city plan. It's like, what happened to fucking like Atlanta where like 38 of the streets are all named Peachtree? You know, that's a joke for anybody that lives in Atlanta, which actually I don't think we have any Georgia listeners, but there you go. It's
what about what you're naming is a sport? You have thoughts on
this
other
really
cities.
this I just talked myself out of it.
But you might like to see it.
You
right?
want to watch somebody plan a city?
Yeah, it sounds like you
the
would.
Olympics a year.
No, I want to be the city planner judge, and I want to sit down and like criticize all the ways they plan the city.
Okay, let me present you this before you rate.
Yeah.
If you could watch somebody plan a city or watch somebody play Call of Duty, right, which is an existing event, which would you rather watch?
It's not an existing Olympic event, though, right?
Let's
It's an X
be
Games.
clear.
It's an X Games event, which is way cooler than the Olympics. We need to
The
be.
point is, I would much rather watch someone plan a city than play Call of Duty.
Yeah,
So there's some merit to it.
That's true. But when they are
Plan
planning
a city
the city,
or Pona City.
when they're can we get city planning? Can we spice it up a little bit by throwing some like racist 13-year-olds in there to like plan the cities?
Yeah.
Okay, then
Sharks and alligators, all this stuff, everything we talked about.
Add some points of egress, or I'm going to kill your mom.
Yeah, can we have the alligators eat all the racist 13-year-olds? Yeah, I think city planning's fantastic. Silver medal.
Very cool.
Okay, very, very, very cool.
Very cool.
Okay, let's eat the Three Musketeers. From the great nation of France. Is that where the guy who wrote Three Musketeers is from?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Is it Sir Conan Doyle or is that Robin Hood?
Mine says "well played" on it. Do you guys have that?
Mine says "raise the bar."
Well played.
What is that about?
It says spread positivity, #throw shine.
Yeah, mine says throw shine.
And it says raise the bar on the front, though. Novak right here.
No, mine does not say that. Mine says less shade, more shine.
Oh. Well, these are all very, very cool things. Very cool. When was the last time you guys had Three Musketeers? Because I thought of it because, you know, it was mentioned recently, right, on this pod.
Yeah, Lindy Mackey.
Yeah, Lindy mentioned it a couple episodes ago. Made me think of it, and I can't remember the last time I've had a Three Musketeers. Like some Halloween, right? Like a fun size, but I don't know about a full size Three Musketeers bar.
It's at the back end of my rotation, like a small percentage. I will get it every now and then.
We had a bunch of minis left over from Halloween because from like the candy we were giving out. So I've had this on occasion.
So it's just like chocolate puff, right?
It's just
inside.
a chocolate nougat. Yeah, it's like a Milky Way without the caramel.
Yeah, we and for disclosure, we kind of last seconded this Three Musketeers because it was easy to get. We were waiting on some other snacks, but
and because we're the Three Musketeers of snacking podcast. Basically.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, you're Porthos.
You're Town Planny.
Chad is Flotos.
Novak is Horsos. Yeah, so shout out to Lindy for putting this in my head as something we could possibly get.
What were the Three Musketeers' real names? Musketeers.
Athos,
Porthos, Aramis, or something like that.
Yeah, Aramis, and there was like a fourth kind of unofficial one.
And D'Artagnan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Aramis. Ramirez.
Aramis Ramirez was the third Musketeer and third baseman.
Aramax.
The Aramis face. On guard. I combined a visual joke with an inside joke.
Yeah.
That'll go over real well on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys eating the whole thing? Because I'm going to eat the whole thing.
I was thinking about eating the whole thing, but I was like, oh, I should probably save some.
Should probably eat the whole thing.
You know who else likes Porthos? Bra.
Porthos?
Like port hose?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to... Oh, my God. That doesn't make sense. I was going to say.
You know who else like darts and yen? Bra. Hanging out at the bar and getting that money. All right.
You know who else likes to ram miss?
Bra. You know who really likes a rich guy named Lou? Cardinal Richelieu.
What?
That's the villain of Three Musketeers, Cardinal Richelieu.
Oh,
read a book. Brah. When Brah wrote the updated version, his name was just like Darren or something.
Oh boy.
Okay. I gotta go. I have eaten a lot of Three Musketeers over the course of my life. I actually think that I went through a couple of phases when I got into them a bunch. So my rating has probably changed as the years go. I like it. It's good. It's tasty. I could eat the whole thing. I just don't know if I'm at a love with it at this point. It just... I've fallen out of love with Three Musketeers.
It just doesn't wear the same lingerie anymore that it used to. It's
Stop
just
blowing
less
me.
exciting. Remember when it used to dress up like a port hoe? It doesn't anymore.
Anyone else? Wait. Anyway, I'm going to give it a like that. I still really do like Three Musketeers. I think it's kind of a polarizing candy because if you don't like the nougat, that's it. There's nothing else like to bring you to it, and it is one note. Like that's if people say it's too one note, I get it, but that one note tastes really good. So I'm going to give this a high level like that. I really do like the Three Musketeers. So, Geiger.
Polarizing candy. I can't tell you how many raging internet wars I've seen over the taste of a Three Musketeers bar.
Look.
This is really at the center of our nation's
I can
discourse.
talk a lot more intelligently about this candy bar than about Three Musketeers novel. All right.
I remember when Cardinal Richelieu turned down the nougat. He hated it. Boy, I'm confused as why they call it Three Musketeers. I'd be curious to see why. There's like 2 ingredients. It's like chocolate and nougat. Maybe the third one's like soy lecithin or something. But I think it's good. I am with you. I wish I ate the whole thing. I probably didn't need to. It was too much. But it's a decent taste. I mean, if I was this or like a Milky Way, I'd do the Milky Way. I think a little bit of caramel is like fun. It breaks it up. But Three Musketeers is a very solid candy bar. I think this one is better in a fun size version when you just get like a smaller bite of it. But I still like the taste a lot. It's a solid like that. It's not near a love for me, but it's a like that.
Okay, real quick before Chad goes, the Three Musketeers bar was the 3rd brand produced and manufactured by M&M / Mars, which is why it got the name Three Musketeers.
After there are other 2 bars, 1 Musketeer and 2 Musketeers, so that makes sense.
Yes. Well, wait, there's more. Originally, it had 3 pieces: a chocolate, a strawberry, and a vanilla flavor.
Oh, interesting.
Which would have been interesting to try. That would be interesting.
Like the filling was different on each one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like 3 separate pieces of candy. It sounds like. Yeah.
Right, but when they changed it, 1 Musketeer, didn't sound so good. So
yeah, the chocolate Musketeer betrayed and murdered the other 2.
Yeah,
it's already 1. But Chad, do we have a welcome visitor?
That's a shame because I actually feel like that would be a more interesting version of this bar. I'm not sure it would be better. The strawberry in particular sounds really questionable to me, but I feel like that vanilla filling
could be money.
That could be amazing, right? Like that could be really, really good.
It does.
Yeah, like some of those other ones we tried,
amazing.
Right? Well, we tried the Who Said Moo bar, right? Which is kind of the same concept. It's like chocolate with like a vanilla filling, right? And we all loved that.
Yeah.
And so something along those lines, I think, could be really good. My problem with this bar, and it is a good bar, let's be clear, but it's, as Novak said, it is so one note, right? Like, it's the problem with there's a lot of candy bars that are like this, where it's just one thing to them. And then compare that to a Snickers bar, right? Which is the king bar for a reason, but it's because it has nougat and it has peanut and it has caramel, right? It has these different flavors that break up the texture and make it like more fun to eat and give it like more variety and flavor and stuff. This is good, but I got bored of it halfway through. And I'm like, oh, that's right. There's a reason the only time I ever want to eat a Three Musketeers is a fun size, because after the fun size, I'm done with it. But it's still pretty good. It's a very, very low level like that for me.
All right, a welcome visitor. Probably not going to be on any of our end of the year lists or anything, but a good bar. And you probably knew that coming in, but it easily defeated the High Chew and the Fat Snax. So, Geiger, where can the listeners contact us?
If you have read a book before, I would like to exchange all kinds of awesome literary knowledge with me, like the villain of the Three Musketeers book and the villain of Pride and Prejudice, because I really don't know when that one. If you are an Olympic expert, if you're an Olympic athlete, if you're a high-level, highly trained gold medal Sydney planner, please reach out to us. If you just want to know more about these snacks, want to suggest some snacks, ask a question for the mailbag, do anything like that, you can reach us at youtrydat@gmail.com. We're on Twitter, hashtag YouTriedDat. We are on Facebook with the You Tried Dat group. We're on Instagram and YouTube. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, we appreciate you listening. Hopefully you can leave a review or some stars, or tell your friends, your family, your fellow sports enthusiasts, the Three Musketeers in your life. That would be great, and we greatly appreciate that.
So what do you guys think about just opening these Olympics up to anybody? So because a long time ago, when I was reading these, they said like the tug of war team, they said was actually regularly made up of policemen. Like people I don't think in 1900 were dedicating their entire life to training for the Olympics.
No, of course not. I
right?
mean,
so it could have just been some dude from a farm, right? But they were doing regular old jobs, and then the Olympics came. Right. It wasn't like a gymnast who their whole day was 24 hours inside a gym.
Like pro athletes in the 1950s still had jobs in the off season, like sold cars and shit in the off season, because that wasn't enough to be a career.
Do because Olympians don't make all their money is pretty much made on
sponsorships,
advertising, right?
They're sponsored by
sponsorships,
brands, and then they have to wear that brands and stuff like that when they do the Olympics.
But they're not like you get a gold medal and like here's $1 million. Like they're not making.
Yeah, not unless you melt down the medal and then
right.
sell it.
You actually can't.
Black market.
I think because it's supposed to be amateur, or at least it was for a long time. So you couldn't even cash in on your fame until you were done, or because of the Olympics. And then they changed some of that, obviously, like the pro basketball teams, like pro athletes and stuff. But.
So which of those, I'm going to give you, you get one choice. Which of these events, I'll list them quick.
Yeah.
Would you have the best chance at gold? Rope climb, tug of war, motorboating, swimming obstacle course, plunge for distance, pigeon shooting, poodle clipping, or town planning?
All right. Well, I would.
And then which one would we be the worst at?
Right.
For me, is rope climbing. I have no body strength whatsoever, especially with no feet. I'm not getting an inch off the ground.
In gym, when you had to do a pull up, that you would just like hang there with.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've done maybe a grand total of 5 pull ups in my life.
I would be bad at rope climbing, but I would much rather do that than try to learn like zoning laws and shit. So I think I have zero interest in planning a city. Best at, I mean, I could just float in the water for a while, maybe. What?
Ride a motorboat?
No. I mean, I ride a motorboat or drive one. Am I just like on top of it, surfing it, like?
You get the gold with the guy who rode
You're just sitting in the back drinking a beer. I win. Obstacle swimming I'd be bad at. I don't want to climb up into a boat and out of it again.
I feel like if I could get like a Gatling gun or like an Uzi or something, I could be pretty good at the pigeon shooting. You know, you don't even have to like just like spray and pray. But my first thought of which I would be best at would just be the belly flop float, right? Because but I bet there's some like, first of all, I don't even think I could hold my breath 60 seconds. So I'd probably like to get disqualified there. But I actually think if the question is what's the best chance to get a gold medal, the answer is tug of war. Because it does not rely on me being good at it. Like, I could surround myself with, like, an amazing team of strong men, right? Like, the entire
dads. Find all the best dads.
All the best Icelandic dads in the world, right? Like, just recruit all these strong men from, like, Scandinavia, get them on my team, and then, like, I just stand there and don't fuck it up, you know? And then that's how I get the gold medal.
It's like Magnus von Magnuson, Thor Thorsten, Chad. Ragnar Ragnarok. Like there's all these like and you're like in the middle like eating an apple.
Sitting on the one guy's shoulder like Salacious Crumb, just yelling at him to pull.
Why am I eating an apple? What?
Why not? You're not
what situation do I eat an apple? You need your strength.
Why, Reese's Cup? Oh, my bad. Was it the choice of food I pissed you off with?
I picture you in the rope climb, just like shooting that Batman gun to the top. And, like, flying past all the guys.
I picture you in the rope climb, belly flopping off it and slamming into the ground and floating off.
I picture me in the rope climb also having entered the city planner competition and then designing a city where there's a ramp that takes me to the top of the rope. That's what I picture.
You just found a loophole.
Well, hopefully the Olympics were great.
Because it sounds like they used to suck.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this time. But we'll be back next time. We're trying out 3 brand new things.
Yep.